Hello there. Halloween's a couple months around the corner, and it's the unofficial start to the busy season for my small business. Last year, I showed you how I made these jack-o'-lanterns out of cedar fence pickets, and I didn't have to use a CNC or a laser engraver. I had 7 different designs available, as well as painted and non-painted versions. I sold about 50 of them. I sold them on local Facebook groups, my website, and a local craft show. One of the biggest feedback recommendations I got last year were to make jack-o'-lanterns with interchangeable faces. That way I could come up with new faces for holidays like Christmas, 4th of July, etc., and the customers could use the jack-o'-lanterns year-round. After I received that feedback last year, I kind of tinkered around with some designs. They work, they look okay, but they were tedious to build. Even though I was able to develop a way to have interchangeable faces, I really didn't like this design. It finally broke after the 5th time. So this year I came up with a new design that mimics the old one and has a lot of the same steps, except for maybe 1 or 2 additional steps, and doesn't require a lot more tools. All it requires is 1 extra router bit. So new for 2024, I got my updated jack-o'-lantern design. It looks a lot like my old one, but we can have interchangeable faces. Hello, Clarice. All right, so just like last year, you can still make 11 jack-o'-lanterns out of 7 fence pickets here. You can get 8-inch pieces out of 1 6-foot fence picket like I have here. These are 6-foot pieces. They're dog-end at the ear. They're about 1/2 inch thick, a little thicker on it. They are relatively straight. Most of them do have a cup in it though, so it's something that we're gonna have to basically get over. I know last year I was worried about perfection, and with cedar fence pickets, you're not going to get perfection out of them. So, but if I can get 11 lanterns out of 7 pickets, that means basically there's 4 lanterns that I didn't have to pay for, material costs for, which is great. You get 8 pieces out of here plus the extra scrap. You can actually make little pumpkins out of them, which I don't have in here. You can make little pumpkins out of them, and sell those too at a local market or whatever. I sold most of my stock of pumpkins last year for $5 each. So definitely maximizing the value out of the wood that you buy from the local home center. So I made these router templates the exact size of the plank that you need, so you can definitely use these as stop blocks or setup guides if you need to. So 8 inches tall by 5.5 inches wide, the exact size of a fence picket. So all you got to do is, I use a crosscut sled for my table saw. You can use a miter saw, kind of same thing. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to put our template up against our saw blade here, and then we're going to put like a little stop block right here. So you don't want to put too much compression on the, or you don't want to put so much pressure on it that the blade bends. You're not going to get any accurate numbers if you do that. So. Here. There's 1. Here. There's 2. All right, so again, stop block. So now we can do repeatable cuts, and since I'm cutting 1, 2, 3, I think I got about 9 boards that I'm cutting. I can batch most of the work out as far as cross-cutting relatively quickly, which I'm thankful for. I cut 9 fence pickets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 boxes I can make out of. I've got 2 pieces for scrap. And I've got all these dog heads here that I can make 1, 2, 3, at least 4 of those pumpkins. All right, now I'm going to take 2 pieces from each box and rip 1 inch off of each side to make the sides. Last year I ended up doing a 1/2 inch on each side, basically running it through my table saw, rotating and running it through my table saw to help reduce the cup that these things have, but I don't think it really matters. I cut I ended up taking 1 inch off of these, and you know, still has it. So I think saving ourselves some time here and just taking the full inch versus half inch on each side will be really good. When running it through the table saw, you know, I've got 1 inch here on the table saw. I've used these little 1x6s for my push stick, and I cut a little, you know, boot on there. This one I'm probably gonna need to make another one here soon. It doesn't have a lot of life on it, but the reason why I do that is because it doesn't make the boot doesn't make contact with the bottom of the table saw. I've got good surface area while pushing this through a blade. Okay. Now, if I were to take one that has a bigger boot like this one does, look at that. That reduces the surface contact on that piece, and I'm not going to have a lot of. You can already tell that this is kind of already kicking around. I'm not going to have a lot of surface contact. So make sure when you're running these through your table saw, you have something where the boot doesn't connect to the or doesn't touch the table saw. This year I made router templates, and I'm selling router templates to be able to make your jack-o'-lantern faces without having to use a CNC or laser machine. I have 2 products available, both in MDF versions and in acrylic versions. If you take a look at the designs, they're easily identifiable. I mean, my website, of course, but the type of design that's on these templates. All right, scared face, Frankenstein's monster, the evil face, the happy face, the vampire's teeth, the winky face. Then these are what the acrylic ones look like. Can't really tell with the lighting in here, but they're all etched. They look really nice, and they are strong. So the new design, last year I had 7 designs. I have a new design this year, which is, again, the scream face. The router templates are designed to be able to fit a 1/4 inch flush trim bit in here to be able to get into the grooves. You might see some of these sharp edges that are in here. That's okay. They are going to come out a little rounded, but the face still looks pretty good. A lot better than mine. Talk about some of the things that you're going to need to be able to cut these router templates. You need double-sided tape. I've got a link in the description. And then I've got a 1/4 inch flush trim compression bit. Basically, it's got the type of grooving on it that cuts like this, both from the bottom and the top, and it helps reduce chip out, which is really nice. You're gonna need some hearing protection. You're gonna need some respiratory protection, especially if you don't have a decent dust collection system like I do. And then I've got these ISO hearing protection headphones that I like listening to music with. Currently, I'm listening to the Joe Rogan podcast with Adam Sandler in it. So let's get to work. To attach an acrylic template, I'm using a couple strips of double-sided tape that I got off of Amazon. Luckily, the template has a lot of surface area, so you can use a larger piece of tape to be able to secure this to your fence picket. Applying, make sure you use a lot of pressure. What I end up doing is I put some tape on the template. Before I peel off the other side, I turn it over and press it against my table saw to make sure that there's good surface contact. And then I attach it to my fence picket and do the same thing, put some pressure using my... So what's really good about this template is because it is matched to what you need, centering it makes it really easy. So top to bottom and side to side, so it's pretty centered. So the way that these templates are designed is to be able to use them with a router table. And what we need to do is drill holes in each section of the template that we want to remove wood from. So I took a router bit that's larger than a 1/4 inch and made 1 pilot hole into each spot where I'm removing wood. Now this is an important part. You have to be able to dial in your router bit to the appropriate height. There's a bearing on top of this flush trim bit. And basically what I'm doing is I'm lowering the bit to where it could ride along the acrylic template. And you don't want it so high to where the cutting bit gets to the template. You just want the cutting bit to be just above the wood. That way the bearing rides along the acrylic template and the bit's actually cutting the wood. Now, something to keep in mind while doing these router templates is you have to put the piece over the router bit, make sure it's not contacting any part of the wood, turn the router on, cut out the wood, then turn it off, and then repeat the process every time. Do not try to change positions or go to a new hole with the router bit still on. That's not safe. Get prepared to get dirty. Okay, so with that, anything like product development type stuff, you can run into some issues. I ended up breaking one of my acrylic templates while taking it off my workpiece. And the reason why I ended up breaking it is because when I was taking it off my workpiece, I was prying from the top, and it broke like that. So just be mindful when removing your template from your workpiece to pull from side to side versus top and bottom. This is some really strong tape for good reason, because you don't want things flying on you when you're using the router bit. So again, just peel your workpiece from the side instead of the top. Now here comes the fun part where I show you the one thing I changed about my jack-o'-lanterns to make them interchangeable faces. In my router, I have a 5/8 straight bit. And basically what I'm going to do is on each of the sides, I'm going to route 2 dados on each side. That's it. That's it. So you have to wait until I assemble it to show you how to do the rest of it. But there it is. I got some push sticks, got my piece. I need to find some more PPE and we'll be good to go. So the reason why I chose a 5/8 straight bit is because typically these Cedar Fence Pickets are just over 1/2 inch. And if I were to put a 1/2 inch bit in there and cut dados at 1/2 inch, I don't think the faces would fit in very well. I think it would be really hard to get in and out. So I chose the 5/8 so it'd be a little easier for my customers to be able to get the faces in and out and swap them without having difficulty. Also, when you're routing these, be careful of knots in the wood. If you happen to run into one, just try to go a little slower when you're routing the dado out. If not, do your best to pick the pieces that don't have any knots in them and you should be good to go. I ran into a few knots on this one, but I was able to get through them. So I'm routing 2 dados into each of the side pieces that I cut down earlier. Basically, I'm running one side through, flipping it, and running another side through as well. The bit is about 1/4 inch high, and I would say about 1/4 inch away from my fence there to allow for a good dado. Here in a few seconds, I'm going to show you how this extra step of adding dados to the sides will allow us to have interchangeable faces for our jack-o'-lanterns. Alright, this is where the magic happens. Here I am assembling the scream face jack-o'-lantern, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a copious amount of glue in one rabbet on each side piece. Basically, this will be the back panel. We don't want to glue the front panel, because if we glue the front panel, then we can't remove the faces. So I'll take the back panel and put it in one of these dados here, and then I'm going to put the other one on here in a second. And basically what I want to do is try to make these to where the cup is facing inside, so it kind of brings everything together. And this one's a bit tight fit on this one, just because this particular Cedar Fence Picket is thicker, but I was able to get it in there no problem. And basically, I just shoot 3 brad nails in here. I shoot the 2 ones on the end at an angle going in, and then the center one goes straight down. When you shoot the brad nails in at an angle, it kind of helps bring the wood together. And here I go assembling the second side piece, again with the glue side, and this is the back panel that I'm securing. And 3 brad nails, 2 at an angle, and 1 in the center, again bringing all that stuff together. So what I do is I slide in the front face here to kind of give it a appropriate spacing here in a second once I attach the lid. But I'm just making sure that it goes in freely in and out. And again, with those side panels being cup side in, it kind of helps secure that front face without it kind of falling out. Now when you glue the top, make sure you don't put any glue on the front face. I'm just putting some glue on the sides and on the back panel. And then what I ended up doing is I cut myself a couple spacers to help me kind of center this. It's not perfect, but if it looks center, it is centered. I think Jimmy DeResta said that. But I'm just trying to get it into the ballpark to where it actually looks nice. So I got it centered left and right, now I'm getting it centered front and back. These front and back spacers are about ½ an inch, and I think the left and right spacers, the bigger ones, are about 1 inch. And again, same concept, a couple of brad nails from the top going down into the side panels, again at an angle. Angle on the sides, and then one in the middle. Don't put any brad nails on the front face. And there we go, we have an assembled jack-o'-lantern. I hope you liked the video, and I hope this unlocked the opportunity for you to be able to make these jack-o'-lanterns without having to buy a CNC or a laser engraver. What I like about this design is that they're simplistic, they look good, and they're repeatable. I'm going to sell mine this year without any paint on them or without any stems on them, but I encourage you to come up with your own unique design additions, if that makes any sense. Maybe you can snip off the corners and put like little 45-degree angles on the tops here. Maybe figure out a way how to put a bottom on them. Offer to paint them. Sliding in here real quick because I forgot to talk about tea lights. Obviously, offer some tea lights to your customers as you sell your jack-o'-lanterns. I bought a variety of colors for last year. I got them off of Amazon. Typically, you can get them in a 24-pack or whatever it might be, and they're relatively inexpensive. I offered 3 colors. I offered white, green, blue, and red. Most of the times, people chose just the white color, but that's fine. I'll offer those colors again this year just because I have extras from last year. And one of the big reasons why I left the jack-o'-lanterns with no bottom is so that the tea light's easy to access for the customers without having to really disassemble anything. So, tea lights. Hopefully I was able to get this video out to you early enough to be able to produce these on your own before the Halloween season. Be sure to check out the website again, wallaceworkshopllc.com, to be able to buy the router templates for yourself. Also, check the link in the description to look at some of the tools and supplies that I recommend using while building these jack-o'-lanterns. Here in a few weeks, I will release new face designs for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram to know when those new designs are available for purchase. I can't think of anything else. All right, now that I recorded this 3 times, let's see if the audio works again. Ah! All right. All right, let's put this here. Do, re, mi. I can ride my bike with no handlebars. No handlebars. All right. Last year, I made these seat. You know, if I throw this thing like 18 more times, it's gonna break. Like, it's already broke. Like, I've thrown this thing 3 times trying to record this video, and it's broken, which is fine. I don't care, because I'm not using this. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. All right. I've thrown my box 4 times now, and had to reshoot the video because I have OCD about my computer screen being on, and it shut off, so it is on. So even though I didn't really like this design, or even though I was able to, all right, now that I got it oriented correctly, let's do this again. Hello, Clarice. So yeah, just like last year. Hello, Clarice. So yeah, just like last year, you. But if I can get 11, and then because the extra, I think I got everything that time. Okay, so I made these router templates. So I made these. If I can find my stop blocks. Isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? All right. So you don't want to, let's get a thicker one. That's what she said. I guess this is good enough. All right. Okay, so I've got, take those off, I was goofy on them. in a couple weeks, I'll release new designs for faces for the Christmas season, Here in a few weeks, I'll release new design for faces. Here in a few weeks, I will release a few new face designs. Here in a few weeks, I'll release new feast.